You are now watching your mans in them live.
You are now rocking with your mans in them live.
So, I have a question for you guys. What is black? So we call ourselves black, right?
6 black?
It's not funny. What is black? All right, so to me, black is a culture and a race. Like our culture and a race. It can be used for both. I've heard it used for both. What about y'all?
A color.
I would agree. I would say it's a culture and a race.
In a color, yes.
Yeah.
I would say a race. Is black a race? Oh, yeah, I guess.
I mean,
I guess. You could
Technically, yeah.
technically, yeah.
say. All right, so
You gotta check it on the box.
more. I feel black is more culture than anything.
Yeah.
Black is beautiful.
I feel like black is a verb.
Black
The reason
is-
I didn't want to go fully down that route is because when you say black is a culture, sometimes people could grow up in the culture or be influenced by the culture and feel like it's okay for them to do certain things because of that. So
Oh,
like,
you mean the others?
yeah, exactly.
Oh, so if you're in the culture,
Just because you're
background
influenced
makes,
by
it makes
the
sense. What you're saying?
yeah,
makes
if you're
sense.
influenced by
Right.
the culture, it doesn't necessarily mean you're black.
No.
Yeah,
no,
so that's I say culture like lightly. That's why I said race
for me
and
too,
culture.
It works the other way. If your skin is, well pigmented, you don't necessarily mean you're black.
exactly,
Mm-hmm.
exactly, yeah.
Because
Well,
I think of it from a culture perspective.
So I brought this up because a lot of times we have our Latino friends or other cultures or ethnic groups.
Wait, just so you know, you can be black and be Latino.
That's where I was trying to get to. Right?
You didn't think we knew that, Curry?
But hold on. When you tell somebody of Latino culture that, sometimes they won't accept that. Right? Do you guys understand why, or you guys have a problem with that? Like, have you ever told somebody that was Dominican, yo, you're black, and they was like, no.
I don't call.
I know black. I know black
Yeah.
like this.
But they have the same pigmentation, but
Right.
they'll say they're not black.
True.
I feel like
through
it's more than
something like
color. It's color and culture for me. So I'm not gonna see a Dominican guy and be like, "Oh, you're black." No.
So what do
you're
you- what do you-
Dominican.
Okay.
You're dark skinned. Your skin, but when you say black, I think of your skin and your culture.
Let me challenge you on that.
Yes, sir.
You can be black. Will you consider somebody from Jamaica black?
No, they're Jamaican.
Interesting.
Wow.
So
You
do
can say
you
the same thing about somebody who lives in Africa, right?
So you consider somebody from South Carolina black?
Someone from Jamaica is definitely black.
Hold on, Sandals will help.
Get your finger
Somebody
out
from
of my
South
face.
Carolina.
Someone from South Carolina,
Yeah, if they're in the culture, skin tone, yeah.
but black shouldn't. Okay, I don't feel like black should be a geographic thing because, like I feel like black is okay. You're right. Black is culture, right? But black shouldn't be limited to geographic. It's like your roots come from Africa. You could be from a different. You come from a different country. You could be Haitian, Dominican, Jamaican, but your roots stem from Africa. So to me, you're black, and African culture is synonymous across the globe. So
The same way.
Is Afri-
The same way.
black culture. Well,
The same way Dominicans be like, "I'm not black." I've heard plenty of people from Nigeria. They don't say I'm black. They say I'm Nigerian.
okay.
So what's
So
what's that situation like then? Right? Are all Africans black? No.
I would still consider them
Yeah,
black
they black.
to me.
Well,
The ethnic background is they're Nigerian, but to me,
Well-
their race is black.
well, Steve Nash is from South America.
That
I
nigga's
mean South
white as fuck.
Africa.
I mean, he's white. The white man is white.
Yeah, but
The white man is white.
but
So,
he would
I
be,
brought
he'd be
this-
considered sir. He would be considered African because he was born in South Africa.
See, usually a lot of times we're arguing race versus ethnic group. While someone can argue their ethnic group and you're trying to put race on top of them, it's always going to be a misunderstanding or a continuation of an argument. So What? What's wrong?
Nah, something I thought of in my head, like a Nigerian telling me they're not black, and then you just look at them and it's like,
Bro, I'm gonna tell you a story. I was working in an airport, and this girl, she was Dominican, and she was like your skin complexion, and she's like, "Why you look like that?"
no, I'm listening.
Oh, and she was like, somebody said something about being black, and she's like, "Oh no, I'm not black. I'm Dominican." I'm like, "You darker than me? How you saying you're not black?" She said, "No. I know black." I'm like, "But you are." And she kept going back, and I was like, "You know what? Maybe it's not my place to tell her what she is, even though I think she's black."
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of Hispanics don't consider themselves black.
See,
Yeah.
let me finish what I was going to say.
Finish,
Sandy
please.
Sosa.
Shouldn't
So, I want to ask you this: is black and African synonymous with each other?
They're cousins.
Right?
But I mean,
I can say that if you look at the definition of race and you look at the definition of ethnicity, and if you look at race, they'll say that race is more of an American thing, like black, white, yellow, like race, like it's
Race is not worldwide.
how we look at race.
well, you got to understand, America's a diverse country. So, like, if you go to some place like Europe, Eastern Europe, they're more homogeneous, or like Japan and stuff like that. Those places don't have a lot of diversity.
Yeah.
So it's easy for you to say, "Oh, I'm this and that," when you lack diversity.
Yeah.
This is a tough conversation. The
Why?
world is very mixed.
Right.
And I think we start to generalize and picture how people look in our heads from their regions, right? And I do it too.
That's
We
what
had a
race
conversation. We was like, yo, do people who are dark skinned who live in Europe call themselves European? We had that conversation. Like, because when you say someone's European, I'm not going to
thinking
picture a
white.
black person.
Thinking
I'm
of
picturing a white person. Right? And
By,
that's
by
just
rule
how
of definition,
think
the people
Christopher
of
Columbus.
Caucasus were from the European region, so they were technically white.
But people who
Right.
live in Europe, black people who live in Europe, do they consider themselves European because they live in Europe?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Europe. My family is 10 generations in Europe, right? I'm European.
I have a cousin I have family in England. They would never consider themselves European.
What would they consider themselves?
Jamaican.
Jamaican.
Right.
Bumbo.
I mean, how
Or
long?
bla- or
like
black-
how
or
many? How
black-
many generations? Like
They're like three. Some of them are 2 generations in, some of them are 1. But my great aunt moved from Jamaica to England and had kids, and their kids consider themselves either black British or Jamaican British.
do you think it fades out?
I think at the end of the day, they'll still be British, but they won't consider themselves like part of like a European like thing. It'll just be like, I'm British or I'm Jamaican and stuff like that.
Let me get into some of these comments. Lily says there are things universally black and culture specific to ethnicity and region. Lily also says black and African American are 2 different things.
Yep.
Nikki, she says,
What's the difference?
she says, I'm Jamaican and definitely black. LOL. Trevor says, very much so. I agree with Lily. Shout out Melanie in the chat. She says, yes. Trevor Davis says, we were black when we came to America. Melody says, I think it's only considered culture if you were raised in it, if that makes sense. Last one, Trevor Davis says, we often confuse the use of the word with the definition of the word. Furthermore, the term black isn't original, it's originated.
That is true.
Ooh, Trevor.
What does that mean?
Trevor, explain for Gus III.
I mean, if you guys agree, explain. Y'all can explain too.
No, you asked him
In
a
America,
question.
they classified slaves as black.
Not necessarily. It was another term used.
I mean, obviously, but
Sir.
it stemmed from.
What you on, bro?
You said originated, so I'm saying like. All right.
We live in. Listen, like I was saying,
Oh, Trevor wants to call or explain.
like I was saying, people in different regions of the world look very different than the idea that you have of them. There's Africans, right? They're in Africa, but you have South Africa, you have Morocco. These these people don't look like Nigerians, right? You have Egyptians, they don't look like Niger. Like they all look different in that full region. When I say to you, hey, point out the Asian person, right? You have in your mind what an Asian person looks like.
Save your life.
India is in Asia. They're Asian.
Yeah.
But they have their own classification of how they look.
But and I would say is that an American thing because that's
Right.
when you think of race. That's what you think. You're classifying everybody in one group. So when we say black people, we're thinking about everybody that can be Jamaicans. Like we're not talking about culture. We're talking
Right.
about
Yo, guys,
yeah.
I just want to
hit up real quick because I can't.
The sky is blue. And when I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
I just want to say, I think black is just a melting pot of different cultures and different people, and just we're the trendsetters. Like we just trendsetted so many trends. Like it's just
Yeah, I'm taking it case by case. Y'all gotta all line up, and I'll tell you if you black or not.
you're too close.
I'm taking it case by case. I don't care.
Well, being Dominican, how do you feel about?
Wow.
Yeah, you are Dominican. So Dominican.
You consider yourself black, right?
Shout out to the family that been down with your mans in them. With your mans in them. With your mans in them.